answers in quiet. And it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we would take the world to its feet. Mountains, bring it to its feet. Mountains, and I'll rise up. I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up. And I do it 1,000 times again. We have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day, I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up. In spite of the ache, we'll rise up. And we'll do it 1,000 times again. We were born to be wild. We can climb so high. I never wanna die. Born to be wild. Born to be wild.
Meet Stitch Fix. Get styled in 4 easy steps. First, take your style quiz. You'll get a box with pieces.
She's just a girl and she's on fire. Hotter than a fantasy. Only like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire. Filled with catastrophe. But she knows she can fly away. Oh, she got both feet on the ground. And she's burning it down. Oh, she got her head in the clouds. And she's not backing down. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. Looks like a girl, but she's a flame. So bright she can burn your eyes. Better look the other way. You can try, but you'll never forget her name. She's on top of the world. Hottest of the hottest girls. Say, oh, we got our feet on the ground. And we're burning it down. Oh, got our head in the clouds. And we're not going down. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. Everybody stands as she goes by. They can see the flame that's in her eyes. Watch her as she's lighting up the night. Nobody knows that she's a lonely girl. And it's a lonely world. She gon' let it burn, baby, burn, baby. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. Good morning, mobsters. How are you guys doing today? Coming to you live. My name is Cori Campbell. If you have never met me before, so excited to have you on. We have an amazing topic for this week's Coaching with Cori session. We're talking about fear. We're going to bust through the fears, understand what they are, why they hold you back, and what you can start doing today. I give you fast action tips and tools. So as you're coming on, drop me a hello down in the comments. Say, hey, what's up? How are you? And what are you excited about this week? So I have a couple of updates. I have a challenge that is starting on July 20th. If you are not in this challenge, oh my goodness, totally get in, get yourself registered. If you want the link for that registration, it's like popped up all over the place, but you can send me a message, drop it down in the comments below. I will get you the link to get registered. I am going to be going over in that challenge how to create a 6-figure offer launch, right? And I totally mean, I'm going to break down the entire framework that I base my business on, that I work my business, and what gets me the success I get. And I'm going to give it all to you. So get in that challenge. It's a 5-day challenge, July 20th through the 24th. Definitely want to get into that. If you know of any entrepreneurs who are like struggling, like, oh my God, COVID, this and all this stuff got in the way, and this happened and that happened, they need to be in this challenge. It's going to transform the mindset. I guarantee you, you're going to have amazing breakthroughs. And it's free. It's free. So get in. Get in. I'll drop you that. I will drop you that link down in below so we can get that happening. That's the biggest update I have because it's pretty monumental. It is pretty monumental. Good morning, Susan. All right, I want to give some shout outs this morning. All right. So how many of you, drop me down in the comments below, right? In the comments below, how many of you have had fears of some sort sneak up and you have caught them holding you back in your business? How many? Now, be honest and say, how many of you have had some kind of a fear, some kind of a thought that says, this, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. I'm not going to be good at this. It snuck up and it has held you back in growing your business and making the income you want to make and the impact in the world that you want to make. Right? Be honest and tell me how many of you below have had that happen. So many. Myself, I'm not immune to this, right? I am not immune to fears. I actually have a lot and I work through them, but I am giving, today I'm going to give you strategies that have worked amazingly with me and with my coaching clients to have awesome success, right? I'm going to break down the framework for that. Number one, and super simple, right? That's how I like to work. Keep it simple, right? Keep it simple, silly, simple, something like that. Right? So keep it real and real simple. There's one, you have to understand and start to recognize what is the fear, what's the thing that's happening, right? Yeah, Susan totally knows what I'm talking about. What's the thing? What's that thought? What's the thing? The thought that you're thinking about that says, I can't do this, or that holds you back, or that prevents you from moving forward. Okay, you're afraid of someone telling you no. You're afraid that you won't get the success. You're afraid of what happens if you do get the success and what happens if you fail. You know, there's all of these things that come out to it. And number one is recognizing that it's happening, right? And number two is realizing where it's actually coming from. And we'll get into this today. And then going into, yes, Rob, I am live. We are live. Hello. Right. And then, so number one is recognizing what it is. Number two is where it's coming from. And number three, I'm going to give you the call it out and totally get rid of this fear. Now, I'm going to be honest, total transparent disclosure here. Just because you recognize it and just because you might recognize where it's coming from, and if you do the call out that I'm going to give you later, if you do that, it doesn't mean that it just disappears. Okay? This has been something that's in you for a while, and you're going to have to keep repeating this process. So recognizing it and understanding where it's coming from and calling it out. You're going to have to do that a lot. I still, to this day, do these things. Right? Getting on a live video and bringing this stuff to you and helping you. I want to help people, but it's something that I still find ways to is the information going to be good? Are they going to be okay? I start questioning myself, and then I do my framework that I'm going to give you today. Right? So drop me down, comment below if you are ready to bust fear out. Just kick it out the door and say, I don't want you in my life anymore. Give her to you, fear, if you're ready for that, right? Thanks, Susan, for helping Rob out. Appreciate you. You guys rock. Got my Minnie Mouse today. So let's talk about, there's 5 types of fears. And if you're registered for the boot camp, we're going to go into this more in depth on how it impacts your business and what you can actually do about it to get to those 6-figure launches, to get to that 6-figure business that you want, or 7 figures, or whatever impact you want to make, right? We're going to bust through those things. There's 5 types of fears. I've got them here on my notes because I don't want to miss any. They're not in any particular order. So when I call out the numbers, it doesn't mean that they're in this order or more people have this fear or the other. It's not the case. I call them, they're all equally as browned grass. You know, that phrase of the grass is always greener on the other side. The grass is brown on all the fears. It's the same brown grass. Same brown grass. So is fear of failure. So drop a comment down below if you have ever felt fear of failure. Like, oh, and here's a story about me is I did not do something because I thought that I felt in my heart that if I did it, I was going to fail. I was going to bomb. I was going to totally suck. So I didn't do it. And then this goes way back. This was in college. I was on I took a public speaking class because I was terrified of public speaking. Like terrified, sweaty armpits, gotta pee my pants, terrified, throw up in the bathroom, public speaking. So I thought, let's take a public speaking class. I signed up to take the class. And on the first day, it was a live in-person class. This is, before COVID, obviously. So live in-person class. And I walk in, sit down. That first day was you had to stand up and give an introduction to yourself. I left the room before my turn and I never went back. I was that scared. Not of the public speaking. I was scared of standing up, and these people, they were standing up and they're like, hi, my name is so-and-so, and this is what I do, and this is what I want to do when I graduate from college, and blah, 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 blah. And they sounded so put together. I was comparing myself to them going, I'm going to suck. Like, I'm going to suck, so I'm not going to do it. I didn't even give myself a chance. So that, what was I? Probably 19 years old, that 19-year-old self of mine, I did not even give her the chance. If I could go back in time and I would stand her up and like walk up behind her in front of that classroom and I'd hold her there while she stuttered her words and did all of this, because that's the whole purpose for taking the class, was to get over those things, feel more comfortable talking to people, feel more comfortable sharing stories. So that I held myself back because I was just afraid that I might fail. I didn't even give my chance an opportunity. So you guys, what did I do? I failed. I didn't fail the class. I dropped the class. So I got to take a different class instead. It was only the first day. But I failed at that opportunity. So my fear of failure made me fail. Like totally crazy, right? So, yeah. Susan's like, repeatedly trying leads to success sometimes, bolstering your confidence. Absolutely. So you guys, if you're in this group and you've been around the block in here for a couple of weeks at least, you've seen that on some Fridays, I do Fail Forward Friday. This is exactly why. Fear of failure was a big fear of mine. So now I celebrate those failures. So on Fail Forward Fridays is an opportunity to say, hey, this is what I tried this week and I failed at it. Cool. Let's celebrate. And then what are we going to learn so we can do it better next time? So if I would have gotten up in front of that public speaking class and I would have stuttered through my words, or maybe I said, a lot, right? Maybe I did that. I do catch myself now. I say, right, a lot. That's like my fallback. Instead of as many I say, right. I just did it. See, totally call myself out. But you get to the end of that week and then say, okay, what did I fail at? If you went through that whole week and you did not fail at anything, then I'm going to say you didn't stretch your comfort zone. And if you are comfortable, so if you wake up on Monday and you're comfortable and go through the whole week and you're comfortable, you're like, hey, this is cool. I'm just chillaxing in my life, and you're not stretching your comfort zone, getting a little uncomfortable, then you're not growing, which means you are stagnant. Your business is stagnant. Your ability to impact other people is stagnant. And then you're not going to make the income you want or the revenue, and you're not going to make change the world in the way that you want to change the world. Those dreams aren't going to come true because you're comfortable, right? So we got to stretch and get a little uncomfortable. So that's the fear of failure. Then another one is fear of loss. So this would be an example of oh, I'm not going to do that because I'm afraid of losing something. So a very easy, relatable example of this is I'm not going to invest in whatever, the stock market. I am not a financial advisor, so don't take my advice on this, but I'm not going to do that at all because I'm afraid of losing my money. Total example, a lot of people can relate to that. I'm not going to do it at all because I'm going to lose all my money. Well, there's some debatable to that, but compound interest always works in your favor over the course of time. So once you put that in there, then it can keep growing for you, right? So that's just an example that people can relate to, is fear of loss. You're not going to do something because you feel like you're going to lose out, right? And then another is fear of the unknown. Okay, this is huge, especially in digital marketing, and especially if you've had a business that is, say it's a brick and mortar business, or you're selling products or something where or maybe you're service based, so you've done it in person. And now, especially with the current times, so many people have had to shift online. There's a lot of the unknown if you've never done it before. And I had this when I came over from, I was working in person and I was doing some phone calls. Most of it was in-person meetings with my coaching and my health support and physical therapy. I was doing all that in person. And then when I decided in my heart that one of my personal dreams was to spend time with my active duty military husband, and he was going to move, I couldn't move that with me. I couldn't take my in-person coaching and physical therapy with me because I couldn't see them in person not halfway, all the way across the country. We're from Florida to California. I couldn't do that. So I had to make a mental shift. Okay, I have to do this online. How can I learn to connect with people? How can I learn to leverage the system? So that's a big change. But in the beginning, it was scary because I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. What if I do it wrong? So initially I was like, what if I do it wrong? So then I'm not going to do it at all, right? So that pause, right? So it's that fear of the unknown of, well, I'm afraid, I don't really know what the outcome could be, so I'm going to stay comfortable. And when you stay comfortable, you stay stuck. Right? So that's another fear. Another is a fear of pain. So for example, going through the digital marketing shift from taking a service-based business in person to online is, I'm going to have to learn all of this. I'm going to have to put time into this. I'm going to have to spend money on coaching programs and connect with people and pull the systems together. And that's a lot of time, and that's money, and that's painful. Right? So that's what I went through, is I had to make the conscious decision to say, you know what, the fear of the pain of going through the time and studying it and staying up late so I could take my courses and learn the stuff. I go through that pain to come out on the other side and oh my goodness, this is awesome. Look at the amazing things that I can do. So we make that transition. And then the last one is fear of insignificance. So this might pertain to someone who says, I don't want to do this because it's not going to be good enough. So this could be someone, and this isn't me because I'm not totally comfortable with public speaking. And it's like, hey, I'm totally comfortable with public speaking, but I don't feel that my message is going to be good enough. I don't feel like it's going to impact enough people. So I'm not going to do it. Right? But if they impacted one person, just a little bit, one person, teeny tiny bit, that is significant. It's significant to that one person. So it's a perspective shift. So those are the 5 types of fears. So wrap that up. It's fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of the unknown, fear of pain, and fear of insignificance, right? And Rob down here is the fear of no or fear of rejection. That could possibly come onto the fear of pain, is going through that pain because it's rejection for it. But if you shift your mindset on that, instead of it being a fear of no, is not yet. Because here's where the fear of no gets in the way of so many entrepreneurs is, all right, I'm going to reach out and try to talk to 10 people and talk to them about my product, service, or opportunity. And you get to no, and you're like, I can't take this anymore. Like I feel totally rejected. So I'm just going to stop. But it's that 4th person might have said yes. And those first 3 people, they're not actually saying no. They're saying not yet and it might actually be totally no. They don't need it. It's not for them, right? But it could also be they don't understand the value. They don't understand the benefit. And that falls back on you, is that you have not presented that value and benefit to them enough to where they're ready to say yes. Right? And this is where follow-up comes in. I think I've shared in this group, I know I have in my private coaching in the Freedom Boss Institute, so Grant Cardone, drop me a comment down below if you know who Grant Cardone is. Right? He's big in the sales industry. He's just like sales coaching for he's got tons of like sales executives. This is what they do. They go out and they sell the coaching programs, and they train people. Their sales team trains other companies' sales teams to sell. Like that's what he does, right? That's one big part of his business, and that's what I'm talking about. His sales team closes on the first sale only 2% of the time. I'm going to say that again. His like ruthless, crazy, go get it, get everything you want sales team closes 2% on the first conversation. Powerful. So where do you think they get all their income from? 98% of that is on follow-up. Right? So if you're getting a no at the first time, add it to your list. It's like follow-up. And if you shift that in your brain to say, a no is just a not yet. And that's going to help with the mindset over the fear with that, is to get in and bust through that. Okay. So let me know if this is helpful, if you're finding this helpful, of trying to bust through the fears. One is understanding you might have a combination of all 5 of these, but I guarantee you probably have one that's more pronounced than the others. So my fear of failure is the most pronounced one. It doesn't mean that I don't have fears of not being significant or going through the pain. So I have those as well, but my primary is the fear of failure. So drop a comment down below what you feel that your primary fear is, right? So once you understand that, then it's trying to understand like, okay, where is it coming from? And what I mean by that is what has happened in your past life to make you feel that way. So we'll go on an example of my fear of failure with that public speaking class. I walked in on the first day. Had I ever public spoken before? No. I don't even know if that's the right verb right there. I'd probably get in trouble with my public speaking teacher. Right? Have I ever failed at it before? No, because I never did it. Did I ever go through like a drama class where I had to stand up on stage and do something in person? No, I took drama, but I was on the like build the stage team. So I didn't have to do the speaking parts, right? So there's that. I think I had a speaking part and I said, like, Oh, I did. So we did a Christopher Columbus. This is crazy. We did a Christopher Columbus, play. My speaking part was to walk up to the microphone to Christopher Columbus, who's standing next to me, walk up to the microphone and go, "Land ho!" That was it. And then I had to like walk away. That's all I had to do. And I was so sweaty and so shaky, and I think I threw up before I did that. I had 2 words, right, and a hand gesture. Land ho! That's all I had to do. So, did I fail at that? No, I actually did really good. I felt that I failed, but I did good. So I took it back to where did it come from? And it was always just internal drive for me, as I wanted everything to be perfect, right? I wanted it all to be perfect. I wanted it to be like, I wanted to turn in a paper to my teacher and have A+ because it was perfect. And I didn't want any red marks on my paper because I wanted it to be perfect. And anything less than that, I failed. Even if I got a 98% out of 100, I failed, and it totally just ruined my day. And that was just an internal drive for me. My parents didn't push for that. Although my parents were celebrating, "Oh my goodness, you got 100%. Yay, yay," made a big deal about it. And if I got a 98%, they didn't make as big of a deal about it. So that ties in together. So understanding where your fear comes from. So I drive that into my have to be in control of my perfectionism drives that fear of failure. And we want to be able to break through that, because that fear of failure, if I let it get in the way, I wouldn't have started my business. If I let it get in the way, I would not have shifted my business to be online, which means that I wouldn't be here helping you today. I wouldn't be impacting other entrepreneurs. So if I look at it in the big picture, is I am so glad that I got through that. I'm so glad that I went through that pain and that struggle. And I came through this on the other end to say, I can totally make a difference. That has driven up the fact of, I feel personally, like total selfish disclosure here, I feel more significant because I am now able to help more people. That's an amazing feeling for me. And I don't do it for me. I do it for the help in other people. But there has to be a selfish side to every one of us driving business, is I feel amazing. You guys, so Susan here, she's in the Freedom Boss Institute, and I gave a homework assignment last week, and I do daily action and homework, and we're like, yeah, let's move the needle forward. And we go through that program, and she has shown up and blown her business, like blown her mindset out of the way. She has had so many breakthroughs. Like, I love celebrating it all the time. And it's a complete like 180 and everything from when we started till this week when she gave this. And she posted this video, and I just shared a little snippet. So if you haven't seen that video, go to my personal profile and watch that. Susan is amazing. She has a huge, huge heart. I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have experienced that with her. I couldn't be celebrating it with her if I let fear of failure get in the way. And that's what I want you guys thinking about, is when you're thinking about the fears. Oh, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I don't understand this stuff. Like, if you're in that space, then connect with me. Get in that boot camp. Get in that boot camp next week. You need that boot camp. Right? It's drcoricampbell.com/bootcamp-registration. You need the boot camp. I guarantee you will have like humongous breakthroughs just in that week. Definitely get in that boot camp. Right? We want to bust through your fears. We don't want that, because those are the things that hold you stuck. And I was talking with another client last week, and just because as a coach, I pay attention to what my clients are doing. Like, are they showing up? Are they helping? Are they following their mission, their vision? Are they doing the things? Right? Not every day, but I follow this, and I reach out to this person and I said, hey, I'm just curious, has your vision, has your goal changed? Because what I'm seeing isn't what was here. And she's like, I know, I'm just stuck. I'm stuck. And
I was like, well, what's the deal? And she's like, I don't know what to do. So it's, if you don't know what to do and you're stuck, then what happens? You don't do anything. And that puts you so much further back. So if you're in that space, if you're like, I'm stuck, I'm confused, I don't know what to do, I feel like I'm buried, I'm overwhelmed, I've lost some money and I don't really know how to get back. If you're in that space, please, I beg you, not really begging, but get in the boot camp next week, because I'm going to help you get through this. I will fight for you. I guarantee you this. You will give up on yourself before I ever think about giving up on you. And what I ask for you with that boot camp next week, I promise you that I will show up 100% all out. I want you to get success. I want you to show up. I'm going to do live trainings every day. Plus, I'm doing something extra. All right, I'm going to be extra. We're going to do extra coaching calls, right? I'm going to show up all out, 1,000%. I'm going to be there. And if you just show up, at least, like, I want you to show up all out, but at least 50% more than what you're doing now. Oh my goodness. The success you're going to have just in those 5 days is going to be phenomenal. Seriously, phenomenal, right? Susan knows. She's gone through. So Susan's gone through my boot camps, and I know Rob has too. And each time, even if you've gone through it before, each time it's different. This time, it's going to be totally different. I'm going to pull out some little pieces here. And the reason why I love my boot camps is when you show up, it's live. It's totally live. You can ask me a question, and even if that's not what was on the schedule, I make it to you. I make it to what your business is. You're not going to get that anywhere else. I'm totally committed to helping you succeed. Love it. All right, so get registered for the boot camp. Love it into that. You've got your 5 primary fears. Think about kind of where those come from. And then the one thing, so here's the hack. The one thing that you can start doing today, and this is going to be something you have to repeat. I mean, it's not something you do one time and then it's all done. No, that's not the case. It takes consistent work, right? This is when you feel fear or when you feel yourself stopping, right? So I'm not doing this, or you're stalling, you're not taking the action, you're not moving forward. I want you to stop and say to yourself, this is fear, and I'm going to move forward anyway. Okay? I'm going to say that again. So I'm in a position, and like, let's say I'm about to reach out and make a phone call to a prospect. And I was like, oh, I have to call this prospect. I have to call this prospect. I have to call this prospect. And then it's like a day goes by later. I have to call it out, which is, I call this the spotlight. I put the spotlight on the fear to say, okay, I'm feeling afraid because I'm afraid they're going to say no. I'm afraid that I'm going to have to speak to them. I'm afraid that they're going to ask me a question and I don't know the answer, or whatever your fear is. I'm afraid of this, and I'm going to do it anyway. Putting that spotlight is like taking a great big light and shining it right on yourself to say, hey, I get it. I'm feeling fear, and it's okay. I'm going to do it anyway. Totally cool. And you move through it. Just shining that spotlight on your fear is going to make it smaller. Guarantee you. Now, doesn't mean that tomorrow you have to call another prospect. You're going to go through the same process to say, oh, I have to call this prospect. But you'll catch it faster, right? You'll be like, hey, I'm feeling fear because of this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to show up. I'm going to call this person anyway. Even if the last person told you no. Even if the last person asked you questions that you didn't know the answer to. Even if all that happens, and despite you feeling fear, you're going to move forward anyway. Now, there are some coaches out there that'll teach you, just push forward, just push forward, just push forward. That works to a point, and that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm not asking you to push forward through the fear without calling it out first. So if I felt fear and I'm all sweaty armpits and I'm like, I just have to push through it. I just have to do it. So I have to call you. Oh my goodness. Right? That's totally different than saying, right? I'm feeling fear because I'm afraid this prospect is going to say no, but what I have is important, so I'm going to call them anyway. Make the phone call. That's a totally different space. Totally different space. So this is what puts me apart than other coaches that are saying, hey, just push through it. That's not what I'm asking you to do. That's not what I'm asking you to think about doing. What I'm asking you is to shine the spotlight on the fear that you're feeling and call it out. Put the spotlight on it and say, hey, I get it. I did it. I totally did it. You're here. You're hanging out. And that's cool. You want to hang out? Fear? Totally. I'm going to make this phone call anyway. It's different. All right. So think about that as you're going through. Drop me down some comments down below. Did you find value in this? If you did, I hope so. I hope you did. Please share this with other people. You cannot share it out of the group here, but bring them into the group so they can hear it and they can work through these fears themselves as well. This is especially beneficial if you have team members or business partners that you're working with, because this will help all of you together come and grow. So that's what we're doing today, guys. And yep. Thanks, Susan. Love and love to you. All right, I'm going to head out. Have an amazing day, you guys, and I'll catch you on the next video.